Hello, this is Greg Allison from Green Greg's coming to you on the 20th of June, 21. Time on deck, 22:30 hours Central Daylight Time. Happy Father's Day. Happy first day of the summer solstice, and all of that. Now, I was just watching another channel, Ed, on Prepper Nurse One, and he got me thinking. He was talking about the problems with having flooding in one part of the country and drought in another, and he was brainstorming ways to deal with it. And he was thinking about, could we pipe water from one side of the country to the other? And interesting questions. But there's a lot of issues with the amortization cost of trying to set up massive infrastructure that's only used for very short duty cycles. So I don't know if the politicians and powers that be would go for that, but maybe they would. But it take enormous pipes to enormous aqueducts, and pipelines and things like that to move that kind of water from flooding and so forth. But that would be something else. But I do have another idea. We do have water issues in this country. We do have severe drought in the western part of the United States. And I think a lot of that can be alleviated with some alternate ideas. And I'm going to call for an Apollo project of sorts to deal with it. So hang on your hats, guys. We're going to get all into this. This is part of my eyes wide open, my head on a swivel series, but it's a little bit beyond this. This is on the solution side of it. This isn't so much keeping an eye on what's happening. It's already happening. It's what do we do about it this time? So, and these are things you could deal with. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot more. Oh, by the way, if you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe, bang the update notification bell and click all, because I do a lot of videos about what is going on in the world, so you can be aware, to prepare, because I always tell people to be scared, not to be scared, to be prepared. Get it backwards, because it's a proposition to help you stay alive, thrive, and out of hive. Okay, all that said, I do a lot of videos on gardening. I've done quite a few videos on wild edibles, what you eat free from the weeds and the trees, and a lot of things about what's just going on in the world, some prepping videos and so forth. And we'll probably have Ed on my channel, hopefully in a few days, hopefully this week or next week. And I've been discussing the idea of appearing on each other's channels. Who knows, maybe tomorrow night. So in the meantime, have you planted your garden yet? If you haven't, please go to prepwithgreg.com, because right now is still a great time to get seeds. There's still a lot of stuff you can plant. Not prepwithgreg.com, excuse me. Go to True Leaf Market. Yeah, go to prepwithgreg.com too, for other purposes, for prepping supplies. But go to True Leaf Market for your seeds. I got links below in this video, and all just about every video that I upload, not the live sessions, because sometimes I don't put them on live sessions. So, you seldom do. But on the videos upload, you'll find links to True Leaf Market. Great seeds. They're non-GMO. They're heirloom seeds. You plant them, you get the same plants back the next year for the seeds you plant. You can't get that with hybrid seeds. They're great seeds. They tell you how to grow your stuff, and it's a great source for supplies for like growing microgreens. I get all my microgreen supplies through True Leaf Market. Check them out. True Leaf Market, link below. All right, let's get on with the story, and I'm going to do some sharing here. I'm going to show you a lot of stuff, and we're going to talk about this Apollo project concept I've got. So here's what it is. Los Angeles, for example, takes 50% of their water from the Colorado, actually over 50% of their water from the Colorado River itself. We're talking 1 billion gallons of water per day. I mean, my gosh, that's a lot of water. They have to be able to, well, there's nothing compared to floodwaters, though. Yeah, floodwaters is like way beyond that. But they have to be able to provide enough water to sustain almost 20 billion people in the LA basin there, where Los Angeles and all these other communities are. There's almost 20 billion people there. It's a mega city, huge mega city, the biggest one in the United States. And as they're thirsty people, they need lots of water. Even when they are cutting back on it drastically, it still consumes lots and lots of water, the people, the industry. And there's all the agriculture. Guys, we are facing a lot of challenges right now with being able to provide fresh vegetables out of California from droughts, fires that could ensue from the droughts. Right now in American West, I was planning to do a video on food prices and food shortages, but I saw Ed's video, and it kind of inspired me to do this one first, and then we'll go into that. And we'll talk about things you need to do for your own water purification too, a little bit, because I got a video on that. I'll just mention it. But what Greg, you're gonna say, what are you talking about? It's crazy stuff. How do you not take all that water from the Colorado River? It's fresh water. LA's got to have it. Desalination is too expensive because LA's right there on the ocean. You're gonna say desalination is too expensive. That could change very rapidly. And in fact, there's some interesting work out there that could make desalination a very profitable business for other purposes. Sometimes you have to kill two stones with one bird. I do get things a bit backwards occasionally. So let's get all in this. Greg, what are you talking about? This is nonsense. No, just hold on to your britches, guys. We're about to go there. Well, first, I'm going to give a big shout out. I'm going to do a share screen here. I'll give a big shout out to Ed. Here he is, guys, Prepper Nurse 1. And he's got a good prepping channel here. He covers a lot of good topics. And he's thinking outside the box, you know, trying to come up with solutions. And see, that's what I like is preppers that try to come up with solutions, whether they're solutions that will take or not. He's trying, you know, and he's doing a lot of stuff that is taking. He's developing a community. He's having a big event in July for preppers to get together. So, you know, he's got his own prepper community he's forming. And so I'm trying to form a network of prepper communities, and I can see some collaboration there, hopefully. And he's a good guy. He covers a lot of prepping topics, a lot of stuff that you want to know about. So check out Prepper Nurse 1. Big shout out to him. Now, let's go over here. So, Greg, what do you mean? It can't be taking that much water out of the Colorado River. Well, guess what? See, at one time, the Los Angeles Aqueduct did provide the lion's share, over 70% of the water for LA. But no more. Now, look, over 50% flows through the Colorado River Aqueduct. And again, it can deliver 1 billion gallons of water per day. Problem is, the Colorado River is going dry. And I'm sure there's other users on the Colorado River who would prefer to use that water in Arizona and other states, you know, Utah, other states besides LA. And LA can do something about this and not need that water. This is true of many other coastal cities, what I'm about to point out here. If you're a coastal city and you got ocean water, there may be a way to deal with it. But here, this is the Colorado River Aqueduct. It runs all the way across here, guys. This is a huge aqueduct, very big. And you can see some of the pipes they're using to move some of this water. Huge pipes running long distance. A lot of it is just open flowing water. Some of it goes through tunnels and places. This is a side profile of it right here. Let's see. No, it's not. There we go. Open this up a little bit right here. We went to Wikipedia instead. There we go. You can see that this thing, it's got to flow up through mountain ranges and so forth. And a lot of it's going through tunnels. See, this is tunnels right here. Tunnels right here. Tunnels. A lot of it goes through tunnels. They come through mountains. This is a huge project. It moves a whole lot of water. But see, that's what you got to do if you're going to move water across Rocky Mountains, Sierra Nevadas, or whatever else you got to move it through. It's not at all trivial. So just want to share that with you. This is a huge, huge project to move that kind of water. But and it's in constant duty cycle, which means it's been used all the time. So let's back out of that and come over here. And we got more of this. This is a map. This is a little better map showing you the Boulder Dam is way up here. Everybody knows the Boulder Dam. And down here is the intake pump. So even if you know the water up here north of Boulder Dam is low, you can imagine what it's looking like down here now. So we need to be able to find other means. Looks like there's maybe some other little minor tap offs. I'm not sure if that's power lines or other smaller pipes bringing some of this water in. This is the main channel right here. All right, guys. Now look, it sweeps all the way across Southern California. That's a long distance, guys. That's all the way across state, and it's a big state. That is a major, major aqueduct. So another thing to think about is the aquifers that we actually have in America. This Agala I can't even pronounce it right. Galala aquifer. I used to call Ali. I can't even say that now. Aquifer. This thing is huge, but it is being pumped down, you know, quite a bit. There's a lot of concerns about this water being depleted. And this is the water that provides a lot of the irrigation for our crops out of the Midwest. How long can we keep mining this fossil water when it's only replenishing 10% of what we draw from it? This aquifer is drawing down real fast. Fortunately, some aquifers do replenish. The Edwards aquifer in Texas is actually replenishing because we get a lot of rain on this side, and I guess it's coming from this side, maybe not West Texas, but this aquifer is actually full. So good news for Texas, at least in terms of water. Maybe not power, but some of these other aquifers are being challenged, like Central Valley aquifer here. This is where a lot of our fresh vegetables are grown. So you can see there's quite a demand for water between LA and the fruits and vegetable areas of this basin, the Midwest, where I always call it Ali olive. I can't even say that. So anyway, the Galala, I guess, aquifer. I hope I'm saying that. Now, where I'm going in New Mexico, Phoenix area, it's dry. Tucson, they're having a lot of problems. There's a lot of vegetables grown down. If you ever fly over, you'll see a lot of those greenhouses and swaths of where they're growing a lot of veggies out here, especially near the Colorado River. But they're being challenged right now. They're having a tough time. But this aquifer is actually also, because it's not have a big agriculture here, this aquifer is full. This is a good aquifer here. And I'll be on this aquifer when I'm in Arizona. So I'll be blessed with that. That's the Coconina aquifer. So yeah. Here's the proposal though. It's turned out that they've been doing research to mine lithium from seawater in the Red Sea. Lithium, what we use in our high-tech industry for our batteries. There's a huge move to put us on electric batteries in this country. And there's also a big move to hydrogen fuel. Well, guess what? This is a partial answer to both of us, supplying plenty of hydrogen and lithium from seawater. And what they found with this research project in the Red Sea was that they could take it through several steps of extracting lithium. And it takes us kind of like the enriching nuclear fuel. It takes several cycles to get it down to the 9,000 parts per million concentration level if they want it at. But in the process of doing this, they're generating both chlorine gas, and they're generating a lot of hydrogen gas too. So hydrogen and the chlorine are both commercial products, and they generate those in sufficient quantities that they claim that those alone would pay for the power. What they're saying is this process only costs $5 of electricity to extract 1 kilogram of lithium for seawater. $5 for 1 kilogram, it's 2.2 pounds of lithium from seawater. Well, that's pretty good. They talk about paying for this from the hydrogen and chlorine produced. But they also mention that this water could be turned around and used by the residual seawater left over for the desalination plants. Oh, well, I read accounts that claim that this water is mostly desalinated by the time it gets to this process. So apparently this could greatly reduce the cost of desalinating the water. And you're getting other commercial products out of the water, chlorine gas, hydrogen, which can be used for the hydrogen economy, and lithium, which can be used for the batteries, a huge demand for batteries. And we wouldn't be up against China as and other countries which have something of a lock on lithium supplies. And we know there's a lot of mining going on in Africa, and a lot of people are really basically in slave labor mode there, and it's probably destroying the environment. So those countries mining lithium there. Well, we're talking about just taking it straight out of the seawater. And guess what? The neat thing about that is that lithium, this is the latest price I took off the spot market. Lithium Lithium at the lime. This is a British market. But they price it in US dollars. Get that. Because my dollars is the world reserve currency. Not pounds. It's in dollars per kilogram, not pounds in weight. But look, $15 a pound was the last quoted rate on here. $15, excuse me, $15 a kilogram. $15 a kilogram. And they said it takes $5 in electricity to get the lithium out. I think we may be on to something here. And for further desalination, you know, maybe they could use a solar still process, or maybe they could use a process like over here, where they're using graphene. So there's been a lot of research papers talking about having graphene, single sheets of graphene, to pass water through, thinking it would desalinate water very cheaply and almost completely. Plus, the other, if you're already making a profit off your water and you're almost desalinated just by extracting the lithium, some hydrogen. Of course, when you extract hydrogen, what's happening with the oxygen left over? It sounds this or electrolysis type process, but you're getting hydrogen on one electrode and they're getting chlorine on the other instead of oxygen, which is interesting. We'll go back to that. So we'll come back to this paper here. Of course, it says lithium is a vital element for batteries and the power electric vehicles. And yeah, we know that. We know the prices are soaring and lithium is getting more precious. But see, ocean contains 5,000 times more lithium than land, but it's low concentrations. So there's plenty of lithium in the oceans. You don't have to mine the land. You just run seawater through your process. This cell contains 3 compartments where this stuff goes through. And then we're operating this at low voltages out of the Red Sea at just 3.25 volts. And what it is, it generated hydrogen gas at the cathode and chlorine gas at the anode. So there you are. There you are. And it says this lithium-enriched water becomes a feedstock for 4 more cycles of processing. I guess let's go through 3 chambers. So basically passes through 3 chambers 4 times, like 12 chambers. So then it gets to 9,000 parts per million. And so this is how they get the stuff to leach out at that point. So there you go, guys. That's pretty interesting. So if we come back over here, like I said, there's several papers. I'm just pulling up 2 of them on using graphene to make pure water. And maybe you won't even need this process. Guys, what's at risk here? Look at the Western United States where we're having the droughts today. By this count, there's over 78 million, almost 79 people out here in these states. Why is Texas not counted as a Western state? Or some of these, look here, the drought's up in here too. The drought is up in these states also. So, you know, there's almost 100 million people affected by the droughts and grain. So why, when you got 100 million people at stake, why is it not worth some investment to make sure they can have water? That's my point. Let's stop the share. Hey, hello. Why not? Why can't we have an Apollo program in this country that would provide us lithium, hydrogen gas for hydrogen economy, and provide us desalinated water? Why not? Then all these coastal cities could take their water right out of the ocean. And in fact, they might run pipelines and aquifers back north, like the places like Phoenix, for example, Tucson. In fact, we might run the Colorado River backwards if we're part of the way. And we're basically emptying the whole Colorado River already. And now it's going dry. Ooh, that's not good. So, yeah, we could have some aquifers going a little bit further inland. I mean, maybe not always in as far as the Midwest, but something else. If you did have pipes coming out of the rivers like the Missouri River, I wouldn't go with Mississippi for, you know, the Midwestern states. At some point when that Ogallala aquifer actually gets mostly depleted, it might make sense when you're in a flood stage just to pump water into it. Yeah, it's going to be dirty river water instead of the nice pristine water they got today. But given time, it'll settle down. The muds and sediments and salts will settle to the bottom. And given time, you could have at least a source of water. It might not be the best water in the world, because it's no river water, but it would be water. And you could process and clean that water. It would be fresh water, easier than seawater probably. So that might be a solution for the Midwest. And that as far as put it straight on the crops. We need to be cleaned up for that. But for municipal drinking, you don't want to clean it up. But for irrigation, no, you could pump it straight up out of that aquifer after you pump river water, probably. But you know, I don't know that you'd still get enough river water to replenish it at the rate we're using it. But it would help. It could help. It could help. It'd be a way of storing flood excesses, some of it. But then again, floods are huge. It takes some heck of a pipeline network to do that. We're talking way down the future when economies are different from what we are now. I still have a hard time thinking we could afford to put in pipelines like that today to handle anything with such a low duty cycle as just when it's flooded. Could be wrong, but you know, I just have a hard time seeing that. But then again, there's something to think about. I'll give Ed credit. He raised some good questions. He does talk a lot about water purification. And one thing he and I agree on is that the one that most people are going to die when the grid goes down because they're not going to have fresh water. They don't have water that's not clean, and they're going to get sick drinking it. And having fresh water is one of the cheapest things you can do. I've got a video where I show several ways to purify and sanitize water. Hey, Ed Hodges, that's two separate things. So, yeah, you want to purify it, get all the sediments and chemicals and stuff out of it. Sanitizing it is killing the biological agents in it. Even the very best water filters will get out your bacteria, but viruses can get through. Even the stone ceramic filters in Berkeley's and so forth. But there's ways to kill that. So I covered that. Purifying and sanitizing water. Go back. I did that video before I did any wild edible videos because I thought water was the most important thing. So I made sure I did that video first. So check my videos out on that. All that said now, what I'm saying is we ought to do an Apollo project to purify, to produce fresh water for the cities like LA and make sure that we can do other things with it, like extract lithium. Lithium is going to be a critical resource, and having that kind of water and lithium and hydrogen will be huge. Now you might could set all these facilities offshore. As offshore facility, it might use tidal actions, wave actions, or whatever to help produce some electricity to run it by. You could add to that wind energy, offshore and wind energy, maybe other sources, maybe solar. I kind of think you have I can't even talk today. Bo used it, not right. buoys, huge buoys, basically floating structures that occur on top and have solar arrays inside of them, and they float. And as they're floating, they got a chain that winds and unwinds, and as it goes, bobs up and down and turns, magnets, and inside of rotors with copper wire, and you got your brushes and picking up, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? There might be something to be done with that. It would take some engineering work to work all that out, but I want to share one other thing with you guys before I end this video. The DDO. Maybe I'll share a couple of things with you. But for right now, I want to share this. Many of you know I've started this Freedom Restoration Foundation. If you want to restore our freedoms, I'd highly suggest you come here and look at the actions that we post, things that need to be done. And I need to post a few more on here. I am a little bit behind on some of that, but these are things that we've considered dear about our freedoms and so forth. But this is not just about this right now. Well, I'm going to show you something different. We got an action center on here. If you come into the action center, it tells you how to contact Congress and what to do. It tells you how to track bills. It tells you how to contact the Senate, the House of Representatives, and your state legislators. And this tells you how to talk to them. It tells you how to go through phone switchboards, the internet, sending emails, calling, writing, what to say. And again, I do the resource cap here. This is all the different government sites, both federal and state within the United States, for how you can reach out and your state legislators and your congressmen, and things that you can do. And so we might outside of this organization, we might mount a little campaign to have an Apollo scale project for water. I think that makes a lot of sense. So let's see, let's go to Green Grapes. We'll go to YouTube here. Hang on. In a second, we'll pull our channel up here. See some of the things I'm watching. New calves, top knot. There's a Alabama farmer down there. Hang on. On my channel.
Hello, I am Greg Allison, Green Greg's Garden and Worm Farm. I'm coming to you today from beside my log barn.
That was hard to catch on that. Mute it. If you go down through here, survival and prepping. Well, if you come over here to about the third video, here's my video, filter and sanitizing water using natural and manufactured filters and solar sanitation. I talked about several ways to sanitize your water, purify and sanitize your water. And some of it's just using the sun, using filters, how to make your own, how to use plastic jugs, plastic bottles, how to use things like the Berkeleys and the Sawyer straws and all that stuff. I cover quite a bit of detail in here. I highly encourage you to check this video out. And another way, if you really want to see what's on my channel here, I got so many videos, sometimes it's hard to sort through everything, even the playlist are not always the best way to find videos. So I highly encourage you to go to greengregs.com. Now, this website has been set up mainly to sell worms, though I'm not selling worms at the moment. I'll be selling them in the fall. But I'm going to be adding microgreens and other garden products in here. So I'm going to really branch out with this website and go to new territories. But one thing I've already done is I've got playlists in here on like garden videos, wild edibles, and if you go into these, vermiculture, all my worm videos are in here. A good fraction of my gardening videos and wild edible videos. The cool thing about this is that you don't have to search the zillions of other videos to find them. So that is what's cool about this. I just wanted you to see that. It's going to take a minute for all that to load, but I'm going to wait on it. The number one wild edible. You probably want to know that. Hey, Lo. Alrighty, guys. There you have it. I've shared with you some sites on my channel to tell you how to purify and sanitize water. I've shared with you a site to show you how you can contact Congress critters. So maybe you need to start contacting. So, hey, we need an Apollo project to desalinate water. And why not combine it with this lithium research? You know what? I'm going to put a link to that paper, a couple of those papers on there, some of the stuff. So you can see that stuff yourself and contact your congressman with it. Anyway, there you go. We could have an Apollo project. Why not? We spend money on worse things. We're supposed to be talking about having this huge infrastructure thing in this country. Well, what's better and more critical infrastructure than water? So yeah, maybe these experiments in the Red Sea are little lab experiments. With the right kind of research and development, we could engineer that to something we can scale up. Why not? Maybe we need to scale up the production of graphene. Let's make that a national priority instead of some little thing where you're making little sections at a time. How about let's have a huge manufacturing capacity for graphene or whatever it takes to desalinate this water. Let's go there. Let's get it accomplished. I think it can be done. Why not have huge solar stills? And what that is just a, flat plate. You run a little water in it, it's black, and you got a window up here like a little greenhouse window, and it's got a slant. This water evaporates, hits this cooler window, and rolls down and condenses, and you run it out through a trough and pump it away. Why not have something like that? I don't know, guys. Desalination is said to be the most too expensive, but if you can extract lithium, chlorine gas, and hydrogen gas, I don't know what those are chlorine gas for. That's scary. That one's scary. Well, we should just extract salt. The salt is worthwhile. There'll be other minerals we can get out of this seawater. Plenty of other minerals. Anyway, my friends, well, Adam said, oh, yeah, by the way, I did mention prepwithgreg.com earlier. Yes, I got a special rating of $300 off a 3-month supply of food that lasts for 25 years, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 2,000 calories a day. How to make you a winner. PrepWithGreg.com. Mentioned it, so I'll just go ahead and finish that. And if you click the My Patriot Supply logo after you go to PrepWithGreg.com, many other deals in there. And if you can't handle that much food right now on your budget, you can get a 4-week supply with $50 off. 3 months for $300, 4 weeks for $50. All right, my friends, I wish everybody well, and let's hope we can figure out how we can get some rain out west and dry out a little bit here in the east. We're drowning, they're burning. Yeah, I'd like to send some of my rain to Arizona and the entire west and Midwest. All right, my friends, with all that, I want to say thank you for watching.